It was one of those late-night conversations that stretched far beyond what was expected. We had been friends for a while, but lately, something had shifted. The air between us felt different charged, somehow. Every look lingered just a little longer, and every touch seemed to carry a deeper meaning. But neither of us had the courage to say anything about it. We danced around our feelings, pretending everything was the same, even though we both knew it wasn't. I had always admired her from a distance. There was something so captivating about the way she smiled, the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about something she loved. But I had convinced myself that we were better off, as friends there were no strings attached, no expectations, until one night, when everything changed. We were sitting on the rooftop of my building, the cool night air brushing against our faces as we looked out over the city. The city lights flickered in the distance, but they didn't compare to the light I saw in her eyes. The conversation had been easy at first. Simple chatter about our day, our favorite movies, the mundane details that friends talk about. But as the night wore on, we fell into a comfortable silence. The kind that happens when you're really not sure where your relationship stands, but can stop the pull between you. She shifted closer, and I felt her warmth against my side. The proximity felt natural, yet something inside me stirred. I wanted to move closer, to close the distance between us completely, but I was frozen. Was this the right moment? Did she feel the same? She must have sensed my hesitation because she turned to face me, her eyes searching mine. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Her gaze was intense, soft, and full of unspoken words. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Then, after what seemed like forever, she whispered, "Why do we keep leaving space between us?" Her words hit me like a wave crashing against the shore. It was as if she had voiced the very question that had been on my mind for weeks. All this time we had danced around our feelings, leaving room for doubt, fear, and uncertainty. But in that moment, there was no room left for any of that. All I wanted was to close that gap, to fill the space between us that we had been carefully maintaining. I couldn't hold back anymore. "I don't want space between us," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I want to be close to you, no distance, no hesitation." The words felt strange, yet right. I had always feared what it would mean to cross that line, to blur the lines between friendship and something more. But now, it didn't matter. I couldn't deny it anymore. I wanted her in my life, in a way that went beyond friendship, beyond casual conversations. She smiled softly, her lips curving into that familiar, heartwarming smile that always made my chest tighten. "Then let's keep no space between us," she said, her voice barely audible against the soft wind. Without thinking, I reached out, taking her hand in mine. The moment our fingers touched, a warmth spread through me. It felt like the world had shifted, like the distance that had once existed between us was now gone. We weren't just friends anymore. We were something more, something deeper. She leaned in her face inches from mine. I could feel her breath on my lips, and I could hardly believe this was really happening. My heart pounded in my chest, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, she closed the final gap between us, and we kissed. It was soft, tender, and full of everything we had been holding back for so long. When we pulled away, our foreheads touched, and we both let out a breath we hadn't realized we were holding. There was no more space between us, physically or emotionally. We had crossed a threshold, and there was no turning back. I realized then that love doesn't always need grand gestures or dramatic confessions. Sometimes, it's about closing the space between two hearts and letting everything fall into place. Over the next few days, everything felt new. Our conversations flowed easier, our laughter more genuine. We no longer had to wonder if the other person felt the same. We had closed the gap, not just in distance, but in trust, in vulnerability, and in the way we cared for each other. We spent our days together, sharing simple moments walking through the park, having coffee, staying up late, talking about our dreams. Each moment felt like a new layer of our relationship being built, brick by brick, without hesitation, without doubt. One afternoon, as we sat on a bench in the park, watching the sunset, I looked at her and realized something profound. "You know," I said softly, "keeping no space between us isn't just about being close physically. It's about being open, about trusting each other completely." She smiled, her hand finding mine once again. "I know. And I want that, too." No more space, no more holding back. In that moment, I understood what it meant to truly be with someone. It wasn't about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect words. It was about closing the distance between your hearts, giving each other space to be vulnerable and to grow together. From that day on, there was no space between us, not just in the way we sat next to each other, but in the way we shared our lives, our thoughts, our fears, and our dreams. We had found something special, something that couldn't be measured in physical distance or time. It was something that existed in the closeness of our hearts, a bond that no amount of space could break. And every time I looked at her, I knew we had made the right choice to keep no space between us.